All right, good morning. It is the 28th of June, 2024. We have got a new red deer baby. We had one the other day, and there the baby is right about there. I forgot to bring my glasses this morning, but there's the one born the other day, and the little one is huddled up in that group right there. So I expect that as time goes by, we'll spot him and you can see the new one. And I mean, he is quite new. There's the older one right there. That one's a week or two. There's the baby right there, the new one. Right there. Right there, separated out now. And he's trying to make sense of what's going on. This one here has never seen a human. But because the other deer aren't scared, he is not scared either. Don't know what it is, male or female. But anyway, it's the 28th of June. We got rain yesterday here in South Georgia, USA. Maybe a half an inch. Maybe not quite that, but it was very welcome. And we are hearing that we're going to get more this afternoon, which we will definitely not be unhappy about. Well, the big debate came off last night between Biden and Trump. I watched it for about 5 minutes. And I wasn't going to sit there and look at that. It was uninteresting to me. And besides that, I knew I would get the high points the next day, which is today, if there were any high points. Biden did look confused and muddled, and it looked like he was, I don't know what to call it, definitely not sharp and spry. And we also were reminded by some of the pundits that Trump was rather reserved and could have jabbed at the old man Biden a lot more. They got in an argument about their golf games, and Donald Trump did say that that Joe Biden couldn't hit the golf ball 50 yards. And then Biden came back and claimed that he could beat Trump at golf. That's kind of interesting. I am a golfer and I'm hitting golf balls now. And I understand some of the problems with golf. And one of the problems with golf is that as you get older, you just can't you can't hit the ball as far as you used to do it, because that's the way that nature is set up. That's the way God created the universe, the fleshly domain. We are flesh and blood, and we start as babies. We grow up to an apex, or our best that we're ever going to be, and then we start going over the hill and downhill until we perish. And what I was thinking about today was the fact that we do get older, and at some point you really realize it, and it begins to really sink in. I went to the golf course yesterday, and I just could not hit the same length shots that I used to hit. And I never was a long hitter. I didn't start playing golf till I was 50. But I used to hit the pitching wedge, 100 yards, 110 if I really hit it hard. But now, try as I may, I can't do it. So I have to hit a 9, and then I found out I couldn't hit the 9 that far either. So I ended up using a 7 iron. Now, I think the pin was probably 120 away to get there. And so to solve that problem, I'm realizing, number one, I've got to use a longer club to reach the distances that I used to with the shorter club. And that's because the flesh deteriorates and we go down. My coordination is still good. Yeah, maybe technique will help some, but I don't care how much technique you have, you're not going to technique yourself out of the eventual demise of the flesh. You can go to the gym. You can work like I do around the farm, which I think is better than the gym. That male, that big buck, he pushed the baby away. He didn't hurt him. He did put his paw up and touch him, but he was essentially not trying to hurt him, but he was essentially saying, hey, I'm not your mama. And the baby, the new baby, is wandering around from deer to deer to find his mama. She's there, but he doesn't yet know exactly what's going on. And the other mamas will also push him away, but his real mama will not push him away. But she's busy eating corn right now and not worried about the baby too much. He's looking right at us right now and wondering, where's my mama? What's going on? And of course, I personify the thoughts of the deer, and of course, there he goes again. Yeah, get away from me. I'm not your mama. I'm your daddy, is what he just told that baby. And I'm personifying the deer and giving them human thoughts. And there's the two of them there. But he didn't hurt him. He's not going to hurt him permanently. He just pushed him away. You're in the wrong place, little one. Okay, back to the fact that we age and eventually go back to the dirt where we came from. Well, that's the way God created it. We all have that problem. That is a problem. Now, we can not think about it. We can solve the problem, or we think that we solve the problem by saying, oh, that's a long way off. Well, that is not even necessarily true. It may be a pretty long way off, but I can tell you that it comes a lot quicker than you think, talking to the younger people out there. I would say a good time to start trying to solve that problem is now, no matter how old you are, if you're an adult, or even if you're a teenager. And there are those that even as children ponder on that and try to figure it out. And yes, the problem can be solved. In my opinion, well, you have medical science, you have computer science, you have all kinds of biology and all that, and they're working hard to solve the problem in those ways. But alas, we will not solve the problem in that manner. In my opinion, it's impossible. We'll never overcome death by our own efforts. In fact, I think our solutions to try to overcome death may actually make it worse. But that's another subject. Is that Mama? Let's see. She just smelled him. Let's see if that's Mama. That one there is not his mama. He knows his mama when he gets close. He'll hear her. But anyway, the solution is not a worldly solution. It's not a natural solution to the problem. And make no mistake about it, we have that problem. It is, from the moment we draw our first breath, that becomes a problem. We know there will be a last breath. He's still wandering around. Is this you, Mom? Now, I'll tell you what, I have actually been out here before, and a baby whitetail would be born, a brand new one, and would not even understand who his mama was because he was so new. And I would walk by, and he would get up and follow me. Well, that's in their genetics. He would follow me. He wasn't afraid of anything, and he would follow me as if I were the mama and didn't know any better. Okay, back to it. A natural solution would be something that we do from nature, and that is the fleshly nature, the human nature, but we can't do it. We'll never do it. We need a supernatural solution. And supernatural means from outside of nature. Is that his mama there?
Mm-hmm. That one.
She's a big grown doe. Is that your mama? Yeah, he's staying with her. Yes, that must be his mama right there. He knows that smell. And that is odd that he would try to mount her. Didn't know what to do. That's another instinct coming in. He's trying to get milk. Maybe he's a male and maybe he's a female. Sometimes females mount each other. That's not an unknown phenomenon in the deer herd. A supernatural solution. Well, it's well known that mankind has sought supernatural solutions since, as far as we know, the beginning of humanity in the form of religion. And they have made idols, their gods. They imagined that they were different gods, and they would make statues of them, and they were idols, and they would worship them. But of course, those were nothing more than idols. But I say man has the inclination to try to seek. I think it's built into us to seek a supernatural, outside of us solution. So I told you how you can't get it, and I'm going to tell you how you can get it. There happened to have been a man born about 2,000 years ago in the nation of Israel. And he grew up and pronounced himself to be that solution. He essentially said and told the religious leaders who were idol worshipers, and their idol that they were worshiping was their own works. Their answer to the solution was, if we behave ourselves and do certain works, God will supernaturally save us. And that became their idol. The man's name was Yeshua. Yeshua means salvation, the Savior. When he grew up, he announced himself to his peers, his religious leaders, his nation, as the Messiah, the Savior. And he further declared, as his ministry moved along, that he was God himself. Well, this infuriated the idol worshippers who were worshiping the works of their own hands. And because they were worshiping the works of their own hands, they could not see that this man, Yeshua, which we call Jesus, was God. He then proceeded to prove that he had mastery over the supernatural. He went around healing the sick from diseases that had never been healed before. He went around and on several occasions raised people from the dead. He fulfilled the prophecies of the ancient writers of the Old Testament to a T, because those writings predicted that he would come at a certain time. Those prophecies not only predicted that he would come, they predicted exactly when he would come, and that would be in the prophecies of the prophet Daniel. They predicted how he would die, they predicted why he would die, and they predicted that he would come to life again, and they predicted that in him was the supernatural answer to the problem that we all face, which is that we are flesh and we are not in the domain known as the kingdom of heaven. So that's the answer. Now, of course, this is all my opinion based on my research. I would say the foundation of my research is the Bible. And that is essentially, in my opinion, what the Bible teaches. And the answer is there. I'll go ahead and summarize it for you. How are you going to solve the problem of our death? I'm sorry about knocking the camera around. I was trying to change the angle. Well, you would think that a problem like that has a very complicated answer. But the truth is that once you know the answer of any problem, you realize it's not a complicated thing at all. And the answer is this: that we believe on the name of this Yeshua. We believe that he was God in the flesh and also remained God. And we call on his name to save us. Jesus, save us. Save me. I realize that the scientists are not going to get it done. No matter how hard they try, they ain't going to get it done. Now you see, when God, the Son of the Father, made himself into a man, he also was still God. Because there's no way that God could unmake himself. He was the creator. Jesus was the creator of the universe. He was known as God the Son. Now, when Jesus made himself a man, but retained his spiritual spirit as God, he had come to earth as a man. And as the truth is, all men die. So Jesus had to die also. There was no other way. So the man Jesus had to die. But the God Jesus can never die. So Jesus came to earth to sacrifice himself, to shed his blood as a perfect man. The only difference between Jesus the man and Jesus us is that since he was God, he was also perfect. He didn't ever sin. And that shed blood, that innocent blood, satisfied the penalty that we incur because of our sin. And we then will be born again when we believe, not born again as a fleshly man, but born again as a spiritual man. Now that fleshly man still has to go through death, because that's God's rule. But as Jesus demonstrated that he could raise the dead body on several occasions, he caused himself to be raised from being dead. And he promised that when he comes back at some point in the future, that he will do the same thing for those that believed in him. He will raise your mortal remains and reconstitute them into a body that will be a different kind of body, and it will have no death. This is what the Bible teaches. If you want to avail yourself of this promise that Jesus made, he said, ask, and I will give it to you. Seek it, and I will help you find out. Seek, that means study. That means listen. Some people are going to listen to that, and they're going to hear it, and they are going to do it. Some people are going to close their ears, and they will never do it. It's a free gift. If a man walks up to you and hands you, I used to say $1, but that's so little now. If a guy hands you a $100 bill, you got to reach out and take it. He's not going to walk up and stuff it in your front pocket. That's not how it works. A man reaches out with his hand and gives you something, and you reach out with your hand and take it. So Jesus is reaching out to you and giving you the solution to the problem of death. But you must reach out and take it. The way you do that is you say, yes, I want you to save me. I want that. I can't do it myself. I see it now. I don't care how much I work out at the gym. I don't care how many pills I take. I don't care how much I trust in the scientists to figure death out. And I realize now this is a dead-end street right here. And Jesus said, I am the way. That's a highway. It's not a dead-end street. It's the highway that leads to immortality. He said, I am the truth. I am the truth. He's telling you the truth, and he is the truth. He's saying, my message is the absolute truth. And he said, I am the life. The life. He is life, because he's alive eternally. And he's saying, I'll give it to you. Because he is life, he has the ability to give it to you, because he's God. All right, that's my message. That's my effort at telling you the solution to the problem. Now, I can't tell you the solution to the problem of golf because I promise you, you're going to get weaker and weaker. And if you live long enough, you're going to be using the golf club to walk with, not just hit it down the golf course. I'm almost at that point right now. I'm not pitiful, but I'm well on my way. But I get stronger and stronger in the faith and the belief that I am saved by Jesus. And it is a great comfort. It is a tremendous comfort to realize more and more each day as this body falls off. The spiritual idea and the born-again man becomes stronger and stronger. Like I said, some are going to believe it, some of them aren't. Are you one of those that is inclined to believe it? Maybe my words have helped you to move in that direction. Now, you can do it right now. Let's go ahead and do it right now. Say this: Jesus, save me. I'm ready now. Those words satisfied me. All right, we're going to say the Lord's Prayer, which is our way of praising God. This is a prayer given by Jesus, and it is the perfect prayer, and it will... What she's doing? She's rubbing those ticks off of her. This doe over here had some ticks on her, right between her eyes, on her forehead. And we couldn't get at her to pull them off. And I said, I bet she'll eventually rub them off when it begins to bother her. And she's rubbing them right now. She's rubbing those ticks off on that tree. I believe that's what we're looking at. This is part of Jesus' creation right here. It's a miracle in itself. Okay, the Lord's Prayer. Please say it with us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.